This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. Do you remember this guitar from last week? The early 70s Les Paul copy branded as a Yamato. A very generous chap called Brian found this guitar and gave it to me because he thought I might be able to make some videos with it, so that's what I'm doing. If you didn't see the video last week, I'll link to it in the description, but basically we looked at how much a guitar like this would have cost back then in the early 70s. I couldn't find this exact model listed anywhere in any kind of advertising material or anything like that, but I did find a page from a mail order catalogue where an Avon guitar, now these guitars were also sold under the Avon brand. The Avon guitar that I found listed from, I think, 1972, which is roughly the period that this guitar was around, that Avon guitar sold for £59.95 in 1972 money, which, because that was a slightly better appointed guitar, it had a Tune-o-matic bridge and so on. It was just a little bit more upmarket and aspirational than this one. I knocked a little bit off. I took a third off and said, okay, let's assume back in the early 70s that a guitar like this would have cost you about £40 rather than the £60 that Avon one I found was listed for. And then I fed £40 in 1971-72 money into the Bank of England inflation calculator, and I was absolutely staggered by the result. A guitar like this back then would have cost you the equivalent of, in today's money, £400 plus change. Ridiculous, you know. Let's have a look and see what sort of quality you're getting. But there's the action at the 12th fret. Measuring that with my trusty steel ruler, there we go. That action comes out as exactly 5mm. It is unplayable. By the time you've fretted a note, you've bent it out of tune. So I'm going to do a series of videos on this guitar, a series of mods to it, and the first thing we have to do is get it playable, get that action down. So unfortunately we can't do anything at the bridge. The bridge is screwed down as far as low as it's going to go. And the nut is actually not bad. It's fretting at the first fret. You've got a lovely low action there. It's just as we get up here that things start getting a little bit ridiculous. So that makes you immediately start thinking, oh, let's have a look at the truss rod. So doing that, fretting the first fret and the last fret on the 6th string and reaching over to the 12th fret, the neck relief is pretty well dialed in. I've got the clearance here of about a playing card or a business card, which is just about where you want it to be, really. So if your bridge is as it should be, if the nut is as it should be, if the truss rod is as it should be, but the action is still really high, what else can we do? Well, that's what we're going to be doing today. The first thing I need to do is to get the strings off and get the neck off, and I'll see you on, well, basically on the other side when I've disassembled the guitar. Okay, then, as you can see, the neck is off the guitar, and as we discussed, there's not really much else we can do to move the strings closer to the neck. What we have to do now then is consider moving the neck closer to the strings, and for that purpose I've got one of these. This is just a little piece of card that I've cut out to make a shim to go in there, which will raise the neck up. There's no real science to this. You just have to eyeball it and essentially guess. That's essentially the way I do it. It's not something I've had much experience of doing over the years because I've never really had to do this to many guitars. These days we're lucky enough that this neck pocket here is going to be cut very, very accurately by a CNC machine. This clearly wasn't. So we're just going to put that into there, whoop the neck back on it and see what happens. What you have to consider here is that you're changing the angle of the neck, the way it sits into the body. So It's like just a small change of angle here will have a bigger effect later on here. It's like if you change course by 1 degree, then that's over a period of distance, that's going to add up to many miles. So I'm hoping just that this little thickness of card here, just cut from the box that an effects pedal came in, will be somewhere near right. So there you go. That's how we're going to do this. We're just going to whip the neck back on and see what difference this makes. Now we've got the neck shimmed. Well, I think we can chalk that up as a success. I've just got the guitar all put back together for the second time, basically. I put the strings on and everything and measured the action. It had gone down. It had gone down from 5mm at the 12th fret down to about 3. So what I did was I basically put another shim in on top of the one that was already there. Then the strings were kind of too low. They were actually crashing onto the neck. But if you remember, the bridge was set so low that it gave us scope to move it up. And now it plays really nice. You know, now I can do all of this kind of stuff on it. Couldn't have done that before. Let's just have a quick look. I haven't measured yet what the action is. I've just gone by feel. The action is now, I would say 1.5mm. That is for the price of a couple of bits of scrap cardboard. You can absolutely transform the feel of a guitar like this. I was kind of in two minds last week as to whether this guitar was worth doing anything with, because it was just such a nasty instrument to play. I think also getting a new set of strings on it has massively changed the way it feels. It's I think those strings that were on it last week or earlier on in this video as well, dated from the early 70s as well. But it's turned out really nicely. It's still got these cheap, nasty ceramic single coil pickups inside humbucker covers that don't sound, you know, very good. I don't think they have a sort of charm to them. And one thing I will say is that it does clean up nicely from the volume control. As you can hear though, as I move further up the neck, because there is absolutely no intonation adjustment on this, none whatsoever. I don't think, looking at it, I don't think the bridge is even angled to have any sort of compensation in there. So once you start getting up this end of the neck, things do start sounding a little bit wobbly in terms of tuning. So maybe the next thing I will do, you know, before we start worrying about the sound, is I'll possibly get like a lightning bar bridge or maybe some kind of intonatable bridge to throw onto this to see if we can pull that in. But just, as I say, for the price of a couple of bits of scrap cardboard like this, it's absolutely transformed the feel of the guitar. And, you know, as I say, now you can do all that kind of twiddly-widdly stuff on it. What I'm going to do with this guitar, you know, I tend usually to do some sort of guitar demo or review or something like that in the Sunday video. That's what's coming up this Sunday. I'm going to put a whole piece of music together using this guitar in the way that I usually do those pieces of music, you know, kind of full band backing track and featuring the guitar doing all kinds of a range of different sounds. It's going to be fun to see how it responds under those circumstances. But there you go. Quite pleased with the result of this. Just a little bit of cardboard. Let's have a look. There you can probably see, well, a couple of little bits of cardboard there in the neck pocket have absolutely transformed the way this guitar plays. And that is the video for today, folks. Hope you found it entertaining and useful in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about music and guitars. What a great way to kick off the weekend. I would love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.